Hi, everybody.
What is up, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome back to another episode of Our Talks.
Where we obtain knowledge
In
It
areas.
is.
of ignorance.
No, okay, we're gonna do it like this. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Hot Talks. Now, but we're gonna harmonize.
No, we're
Okay,
not.
so 1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of
Hot Talks. Okay, that is flat.
Homie, you're not doing it.
No, but you singing flat.
Ah.
Why are you singing
Okay,
so
okay.
flat?
Welcome to Hot Talks.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of
Hot Talks. Sounds very bad, but okay.
where we
Obtain knowledge.
In
areas
of
of ignorance. You see, now that's
See,
the
that's
vibe
much
I'm looking
better.
for. You see.
That's
Welcome
much
back,
better.
guys. It's so nice to be back with you.
100%.
The four of us, you know. It's just been episode after episode with guests.
Can
And
I
we've-
say something quickly? My mic is off.
Okay, but we
Really?
can,
Okay, but you were singing false anyway, so no worries, Dad. No worries.
No, you can do the under baritone.
Yeah.
What is your family sing, Candice? They sing a voice?
Tenor.
No, they sing a baritone. I don't know the name.
I don't know the name.
I don't know the name.
Spells me
But
that now.
yeah, so we've had a lot of episodes where we had guests, and it's just been a while since we've gathered here.
Together, let's sing on cue together.
As we... Oh, sorry.
Together.
That's powerful. I felt the anointing there, actually.
No,
I felt that
I
thing.
felt it.
So, I thought we were going to
my
sing As We Gather. That's why I was like, As We Gather. Oh, okay, but we've had a lot of episodes where we had guests.
Yep.
And to be honest, we haven't recorded since May. Because all of the
Sure,
episodes
yeah,
we did like consecutive guests every single Saturday.
Yeah.
So we haven't like actually set up the stuff for a while.
yeah.
But
We also needed the break.
I'm
so it
glad
was
to be
great.
back.
It was great to also in between just top up.
yes.
Yeah.
So it was a lot that we poured out in terms of guests, and I believe that the guests that the Lord had led us to interview was for the season.
True.
And I think
So
also
let's-
for the past few episodes, I think we also obtained knowledge
100%. I
from
mean,
from the episode.
let's recap. So one of the first guests we had for this year was Donna Oaks.
Was it
and
the
her husband?
first?
Not the first, but
Was it
that's
one
one
of
of
the
them.
first?
No, I'm so talking about like in the recent.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it was Donna Oaks and her husband, and then it was
Lucindy?
yes, until Lucindy Julie,
Yes.
and
Yeah. No,
Yes.
wasn't it Marlon first?
no, and then
No.
Dr. Marlon afterwards, which I believe that
It hasn't been aired yet.
no, but we're speaking
No,
like
but
it
we're
was
talking
aired.
about in future.
Yeah, because
Yes.
this is going to be uploaded
Pre-recording.
after him.
After him,
Yes.
yeah.
But I think all of the episodes is really blessed, and we've gotten a lot of feedback from the
Yes.
episode,
Yeah.
from each episode actually with the guests. I mean, we had Auntie Donna Oaks and her husband, who are therapists, who are marriage
Yeah.
counselors, who are grief counselors, who and things like that. We don't have knowledge in the sense we obtain knowledge.
So-
We also had Caden. We had Caden.
Yes, he was
one of
also
the first
one.
ones, and that was powerful as he brought back where purpose lays within the kingdom of God, within our lifestyles, and
100%.
not just our spiritual lives, but also our physical health,
That's so
and physical lifestyles.
Yes.
And so what stands out for me is how the physical, it started with the physical,
Mm.
and then transcended or transitioned
Yeah.
into understanding counseling and
And
trauma
mentally.
the mental side of it.
Yeah.
Then we had someone after dealing with that, being able to testify about it, and then obtaining all that knowledge, the academia, and attaching it to
And
spiritual.
also
Yeah, that's powerful.
the demonic side of things
For sure.
that Lucindy was touching on.
100%. So taking all that we've obtained in terms of knowledge,
Yeah.
academically, or from people that has walked the path, we
Yeah.
have transcended from the physical of the body right all the way, and now we've attached spirituality and academia. That was the last,
For
the
sure.
previous episode of. And so, what I want to point out is how we transitioned from one to the next, and that was not planned. It's
No,
not planned.
that's
It's
powerful.
just how just how it came about, and we find ourselves we all find ourselves in different areas of
I feel almost like we add all these different knowledges into like a mixing bowl, and then God has us
information.
bake it. And as much as people enjoy perhaps the content that we share, which is impactable content, the challenge and I would say the baking of it in the oven, the heat that comes onto that whole ingredient bowl that gets mixed and put in the oven, for us as a family, I feel we feel the knocks bigger and more impactable in terms of more head on. Because we need to be, God keeps us challenged for what we post, what we air, and then we literally have to
face those things.
to face those things. Practically, we have to face it.
And I think that even like that day, and actually all of us were walking through how everything coincides. That is why we don't just let anybody on the platform, because we believe that this is a baby that needs to be nurtured. So just as a baby, a newborn baby, can't go outside for 2 weeks to protect itself from germs. So we don't just let anybody on the podcast to avoid contamination.
And it's not personal.
100%.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
not
hard.
personal.
And I believe at the right time, we will approach you, or God will place you on our heart,
Yeah.
Yes.
and we will approach you and ask if
100%.
it's something you want to do.
100%.
And again, look, if there has been people that reached out, we might have missed it or whatever the case to be. I don't think that the comment that Caitlin is making is a broad comment that when you asked, we said no, we didn't respond to it because you are going to contaminate it.
No,
It's
no,
not
no.
in that
No.
sense.
Yeah.
We're just saying there are instances
Yeah.
that we will either say no, or we'd ask you maybe we will look at it at the later stage, and that again is not implying that when we say no or at the later stage that you are going to contaminate
100%.
it.
And I
we are
think
just
it's,
very mindful of it.
and I think it's just the podcast is fragile right now.
Yeah.
So
It's a newborn baby.
It's a newborn baby.
100%, yeah.
So
And
feel
I
like
think
it's
that
vulnerable.
even with the guests that we had on, it was on a ordained time. Like if you look at until Lucindy's episode, we had asked her like
Half a year ago.
Months
yeah,
ago.
6 months ago, and she only came now, and that was the ordained time for
And
her
so
to come.
hence, if you feel that you are led by the Spirit of God to approach us, don't not approach us.
Yeah.
And like I said, we might not use the interview immediately or have the interview immediately, but it's not as though the Lord doesn't want us to use it
At all, yeah.
At all.
100%.
So if you feel led by the Spirit of God to contact us, please don't
Yes.
refrain from. But you also, let's just be honest, we also have people that can also just be approaching us for the sake of their own personal agenda.
Publicity, yeah.
And so we need to be very, very mindful, because we are going to stand before God, because He's given us a mandate as a family regarding the podcast. So we're going to stand before God for allowing it to be misused, if we just allow it
100%.
obliviously to be misused.
Sure, 100%. So I feel like
We need
that's,
to transcend.
yeah,
We
I
need
think
to- what-
that's
Transition.
Transition, yeah.
So I think that's the setting of for this episode. I think we're going to
Yes.
speak about transition. I think us as a family, we are really in a season of transition.
Yeah.
And just allow me to explain something from my personal life. So I basically been in the journey of transitioning from school all the way to work, and I feel like my mom has also been transitioning in her area of her life, and Caitlin in her area of her life, and my father also in the areas of his life. So it's profound that we opened up with the transition of the episode and how it all coincides. And I think transition is really something that is really, I want to say overlooked, but it's the wrong word. It's really not preached about often.
And give enough
But it's-
attention.
And given enough attention, but also in the same breath, it's so important that we need to grasp
Yes.
that understanding that the transition is quick, but it's hard work.
For sure.
And
And I think it doesn't happen as I don't think it happens like, oh, so now we're going through this transition. I think life is full of transitions,
Transitions,
but we just don't see it as it, because we just take for granted that it's just what we need to do next. But it's actually seasonal, because everything we do, we have
100%.
transitions. Even in one day, we have a transition.
Yeah, for
100%.
sure.
And
And-
we become complacent to that. That's why we're not aware of it.
100%.
And I think even our entire life is built on, I think we cannot understand transition if we don't understand seasons.
Yes.
100%.
Because if you think about it, the entire year consists of four seasons. And if you think about it, we go through transitions from the moment we are born. We transition into a toddler, into an adolescent, into an adult, into what comes after adult? Elderly. So
Pensioner.
our entire life,
Wow.
pensioner, our entire life is filled with transition.
Yeah.
And I think that if we try and we cannot ignore it,
No.
and that's the thing, we cannot ignore about when it comes to, I'm talking about that is now natural transitions. I'm talking about when God tells you to transition, whether it's to move houses, to immigrate, to move jobs. That is when the ball is in your court. And if you don't adhere to when God tells you, okay, now it's time for you to move on, I think that comes with a curse, because now you're
Yes.
disobeying the instructions.
And I don't also think it's just physical, because you can have spiritual transitions too. So just because God had used you in a season where you were operating from a place of insecurity doesn't mean He wants to use you in the next season
That's
with giving allowance to insecurity.
100%.
So I'm saying it's even spiritual transitions that I'm speaking about. But in order to acknowledge transitions, we also need to admit that we've also ignored transitions when it wasn't to our likeness.
100%.
100%. Yes.
Because I believe that, as an example, if we are placed in a place to work and we don't like it, we think because God gave us the job, it needs to always be sunshine and roses. The moment it feels like you're starting to feel the thorns, you
Then it's from
automatically
the
think
enemy.
it's the enemy that's come now. Now it's time to move. How many times have we not moved prematurely
100%.
from a season and forced ourselves into a transition that God didn't approve?
100%. And I also think the difficulty also comes from where the Lord asks you to transition from your comfortable state.
100%.
I think that's also a major reason why people fail to transition, because they're comfortable, have a decent job, they pay a decent salary.
Yeah.
Why is the Lord ask me to move?
Yes.
For what reason possibly can the Lord ask me to leave this comfortable state? I thought I'm in purpose, I thought
Sure.
I'm prospering.
Sure.
But yet the Lord will instruct you. He doesn't
Sure.
ask you, like He literally instructs you. And speaking about transition, it's actually very dangerous if you don't transition. Because if an adolescent acts like an infant, he's gonna not look normal. He's not gonna. You understand? He's gonna
Yes.
look crazy. Or
Yes.
if a baby acts like an elderly person,
Yes.
it's not gonna look right to the eye. So if it doesn't look right to the eye physically, it won't look right in the eye spiritually.
For sure.
Because we're supposed to be spiritually matured, but we loving immatured.
Yes,
sure.
100%.
And like Paul also says, it comes to mind that when I was a child, I did childish things.
100%.
But when I was a man, I did things out of a place of wisdom.
And one thing that stops us from transitioning, or when God tells us to transition, and this is what Mommy touched on, is taking offense. So we think that when things are not going our way, now it's time to jump ship.
Yes.
But I think in those trials, the Bible says, James 1 verse 2, that consider pure joy when trials and tribulations come your way. So God is clearly trying to mold you,
Yes.
to have you perhaps grow or mature in an area that you are still immature in.
For sure.
Because at the job, if your boss starts treating you badly, maybe the Lord is just trying to maybe test your patience, or he's trying to test your you abiding to authority.
Yes.
You know, I think, yeah.
I think that over the past 6 or 7 weeks, we've also had a teaching every week on a Tuesday night on mastering transition.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that we often overlook and we miss, I think that our prophetess of the house said that we often need to shift the gear down in order to get over this hill. So like I think Caitlin, you mentioned now that patience is the thing. The longer we take to shift gear, because if you go uphill with a car and you are in a high or in your cruising gear, which is 5th gear, or what if you drive an automatic, it's in the top gear, will automatically change down in order for the engine not to labor and for you
And to get
Mm.
the
to the top of
acceleration.
the hill and allow automatic acceleration
Acceleration.
for you to get to the top. But often we sit in that impatient state because we haven't shifted the gear yet. We're laboring, our foot is flat on the throttle.
Then we're actually burning ourselves out, and also
And so if you drive, you understand
Yeah.
that your foot, if you're in 5th gear or 6th gear, whatever your top gear is, and you're going up a steep hill, your foot can be full on the throttle, which
won't be
means
going
your
faster.
throttle is completely open and there's fuel flowing. but you're not going every year because you haven't shifted yet.
Sure.
And the longer you in that top gear with full throttle, you're tiring out yourself, but you're still slowing the car down.
And the burning at the engine.
100%, and you're laboring the car. So it is the same thing. So in order, when God puts that test of patience, the quicker we shift, the quicker we move on. And again, it is a process. We don't wake up tomorrow and then I have patience.
Yeah.
It is a process, but the quicker we shift to move, and I think she mentioned also that we lean in, when we hit the corner, we lean into it, full throttle, not too much, just too little. And as we transcend in the various facets, so it's patience, love, kindness. We don't take so long. Okay, right, here's the hill. Lord, what are you teaching me? Love.
100%.
Flat foot, fourth gear, not going anywhere. The car's busy dying. So it is those things that we also need. And the Lord will put these things on our path.
Yes.
With a different...
But the acceleration is what was needed, and that spoke now loud, or it caught my attention.
Yeah.
Because if I think about it, the acceleration, if you look at the kids today, you look at newborns, you look at toddlers, they are far more accelerated as what we remember toddlers to be 10 years or 20 years ago.
100%.
If you look at the amount of puzzle pieces that kids do on a toddler stage compared to what they did 10 years, 20, 30 years ago,
That's so true.
very different. Look at how they can manage technology. The
Technology.
toddlers are teaching adult people what to do because they figured it out, because acceleration, God had brought the gaze down for the season of transfer. Because Jesus is coming back, so there's lots of work, kingdom work to be done in the field. The laborers is few, the harvest is plenty. So, so Jesus had to gear down, God had to gear down strategically, gear down the gears for the acceleration of the push. And that blows my mind because you see it every day.
Yeah.
You see even how plants grow quick, how seeds in the ground sprouts quicker than what it were before. You needed to have green fingers in order to see a plant sprout. Today you literally can put it in the ground, and for some other reason it sprouts quicker than what. It's mind blowing.
We experience that. So you guys know. So when we drive home from a particular area, there's a farmland on the left. So one day you'll see that like people planting and there's nothing. It's sand or whatever the case may be. And in a few weeks, there's like cabbage and
In full process.
in full, and they're busy harvesting with it. And again, we don't actively take note of it because we don't know how long the week and the process is. But that's exactly transition.
But how long did farmers take to grow things back in the day?
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
So I think now that we're on the topic of transition, I want to ask for those that probably are wondering, for our family, what has been one of the most challenging transitions that has taken place in our lives?
Do you want to maybe go?
Yeah, look, I think with a lot of in our life as a family, apart from our personal transition, I think Cameron mentioned in the beginning, we also needed to the transition for us. There was a point of transition for us as well when Cameron left school and started working. So now he gets up early and he comes home. He has a full 9-hour day, or actually, as a matter of fact, a 10-hour day. He leaves early. So the bubbly person that when I used to come home from work, that had all the energy because he ate all my food and he didn't pay for it, or still doesn't. But I mean, he had little hours at school. Now he's back
More
at
leisure
home.
time.
More leisure time, more relaxed. So now automatically we need to shift and check, okay, we need to accelerate. This is a corner. We either lean into it or we take our foot off the accelerator and before we cause an accident. I think one of the analogies that Prophet also uses is where the car's going one way and we're pulling a different way. So it was a learning.
The alignment is out.
The alignment is out, yeah. So all of us in the home, again, even with Candace and for us, a lot of the transition in the family, I think, was focused in this season on Cameron and Mommy or Candace. And Cameron, where they were transforming and moving out of one season into another season and quite rapidly. We come from the season, we moved house and we moved.
I was just going to say that transition for us was a big one.
Yes. I think in the past season, moving house, packing up everything that we known we were comfortable with for years.
And coming to a suburb that we actually said we will never move to.
Yeah,
so never tell the Lord, I'll never do it. Those are the words you should never use.
Yeah, and then we move from there, and then in the same breath, Cameron matriculates, in the same breath, and then Candace transition.
And Kaiten just started high school.
just starts high school in the 4th term.
At the
it's
new
all
school.
New school, completely different.
Different culture.
Completely different
Different
culture.
weather.
Yeah, also.
Conditions.
Closer to the sea.
So
All that stuff.
it's all these things that the things we mentioned might sound trivial to many who is used to moving house or is moved to packing up and going whatever. For others,
It's not so.
the gear we need to
Shift
find
it
the right
down, yeah.
vibe and start going, because again, as a head of the home, you need to not only take your growth and your transition, you need to understand that there's people with you.
Yeah, on
And
the journey.
And in some instances, they are further than you. They are, when it comes to adapting, or when it comes to changing,
Or be
when it comes to
content.
be obedient, or being content that things are not the same that they used to be anymore. Even though you are leading, understand this, that there's others in your team that
Sure.
is with alongside you,
That's good.
might be quicker in the transition than you are. You have to be man and woman enough to say, you know what, Cameron, when it comes to changing quickly from school to work, that is something I would not have done. I would have taken a year.
100%.
But you leaned into it and you got it done. And the same for anything. Like if I have to go to a new job, that freaks me out. Caitlin and Cameron need to go to a new school on the 4th term in September.
Of that year.
And Cameron needed to take on subjects that he never did in his life before. In
Not
grade
like I did
11.
any other subjects in my life.
I had to drive in traffic and roads I've never driven before.
100%.
And honestly, if you
sorry,
think
Caitlin,
about
I wanted to say something.
Sorry, it's a bit long. but,
And with regards to transition, like when you're in a transition, everything transitions.
Yeah.
Like even you transition from old relationships
True.
into
Wow.
new relationships. Like
Yeah.
in a single transition,
Sure.
everything transitions.
And
Changes
and I
it.
love how you said that, because I was gonna say that in a space of say 4 years or 3 years, we've experienced so much transition. But I think that when you move from, as an example now, if you move from schools, you transition in the relationships, like you said, okay, the
Yeah.
friends you had at the previous school, you don't have the same friends. But I feel like sometimes you will still be in relationship with a certain person, but the way that you are in relationship with them, that also
It shifts,
changes,
yeah.
because you start
transcends,
maturing.
it changes.
Yeah.
Yes, because you start maturing,
Yeah.
and I think that when in a space of transition, that is when you truly need to rely on God, because you yourself don't know which way, how it's gonna be. We didn't know how it's gonna be coming to a new school. We didn't know how cold the weather would be, how windy it is outside at our
How
new house.
minimal sun we get for the washing.
Yes, so.
the
Very,
window
very
of
short,
sun
small,
is
a small
minimized.
window.
And honestly, at our previous house, we could put on
The
washing in
washing
the
afternoon,
morning,
even the
and then
afternoon.
yes, and then it will get dry. But because of how our house is stationed now, we need to put it on a certain time. So I
And the
understand.
climate and the weather. So as an example, so when we used to live out in the northern suburbs from where we are, or we were, you can leave your washing on the line till 6, 7 o'clock in the summer. Here you have to take it off by 2, where we live now, because by the time you get there 3 o'clock, it's wet
Yeah.
of the sea and everything else. So yeah.
You know what was standing out for me now in the transition when we moved houses was that I moved and packed having cancer.
Yeah.
And when we bought the house, I wasn't aware of the cancer that I needed to have a hysterectomy for in the future. So when we moved, we bought a home that didn't have a functional kitchen. So we knew there was going to be renovations to be done, which had to happen in our transition while I was transitioning from going into surgery
Yeah.
and having to heal and recover from cancer, which was a frustration for me. I don't know if you guys remember, because I wasn't able to do things myself. I wasn't able to hang up washing. I wasn't able to take a broom. And so I needed to wait upon my family. And that was when God really, truly tested my patience, because I needed to be okay with not getting things at the time I would have wanted to get it, and do things at the times I wanted to do it. And so there's many times I screamed. Actually, out loud screamed, vent, shouted into pillows, because it was very difficult for me as a member in our family that did a lot, and was dependent on a lot. So when I needed to depend on my family, I couldn't. It wasn't a safe. It wasn't a familiar
transition,
place for me.
Yeah.
You know, so that I think that is one of the bigger transitions in my life, was having to have dependence.
Yeah.
on others. I remember my in-laws also to help. Daddy would drop me there during the day for them to wait on me. Because if I'm alone, then I'm going to drag that basket and try to put it and still be disobedient. You know, but in my mind is like, but it must be done. The washing must be done. But the Lord is saying, find yourself in a place of rest. That cannot be done through you right now. And I was battling with that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I also feel like what I've also noticed in the transition, like the challenges we maybe had in one season, it's new challenges that we have in the next season that we transition to. Like even the schools, like we didn't have a problem with seats in a classroom. But in our new season, there was problems with seats in our class. Yes, like, there was times when I got there, I had to sit on the floor.
Yes, yeah.
And
At school, and that's crazy. Like especially textbooks. Like you got there first serve,
shade, guys, if
got
you
first
listen.
serve.
Come
But that was the reality.
Shade.
No, 100%.
And-
That is a transition.
No, wait.
I mean, to be honest about it.
Shade.
No, we don't have to shade.
No,
But I
we
mean,
don't
we have to
shade.
be honest and transparent.
But I think in the midst of that, that's why I'm saying in the transition you learn new things about
For sure.
yourself,
Have to
because now
adapt,
you are. Because I mean, going into that environment, I'm not saying that our previous school didn't have all of the things like
Or any
bad
challenges,
stuff.
yeah.
Yes, we were also taught at our previous school, but I'm talking about here that where we are, where I am right now, where Cameron was, is that it teaches us that you don't have to be in a certain environment and then conform to that. You know, the Bible says that we are the light of the world. In the midst of the darkness, you must be standing out.
You must.
I was actually when myself and Cameron the room can be dark, but if I don't even have to put my flashlight on. I can just put my brightness on
Screen.
full, and I can see where I'm walking because the light cannot be hidden. A lamp cannot be put under a table. It will still be able to show. So I feel like in that season or in this season, that is what we were taught. So now when we move on to the next, wherever we go, we're learning new lessons, something we can put in our bags. So at the end of the when our time is over here on earth, we have learned so much stuff. We've become such great people because we have transitioned.
And also mastering it by going through it quicker. And quicker every single time. I'm thinking even where God sends you, He provides for you. And even when there was limitation of a textbook, maybe in this case of the conversation, is that God sent people in the area that went to different schools that had the same subjects as you that could make photocopies for you. But it wasn't a deal, but it was provided for. The manna was there. The manna wasn't a deal for the Israelites, but God provided the manna for the day.
100%. Another part of the transition is that we from moving a year, we moved from out of a pastoral covering,
Yes.
where we were in I will say in service, or we were in ministry alongside my dad, and we moved from there, and we find ourselves now under an apostolic and a prophetic covering. Also transition. Every time we learn, every single time we learn, not discarding what we were taught in the previous season.
Because that was good for that season.
So we we find ourselves in transcending. And here's another
Transitioning?
Transitioning. Sorry,
Transcending.
transcending.
Transkai.
Transcending all understanding.
Transkai.
I got another one. I almost slipped out. The thing, the thing is this. Every milestone in the transition period while you manage was another thing that in the 6 weeks must be celebrated.
That must.
Celebrated.
Yes.
Celebrated. You do a sing and dance about it, like, Lord, thank you, man.
But why also when you transition, this is something I really want to say. Why when you transition, why must the things from the previous season, why must, you're not discarding that. You understand? Like, think about it.
I was going to go there
when
now.
I move schools, I can contact people from my previous school and there will be no hard feelings because we both understand we needed
I want
to
to say
transition.
this. I think I do think I want to say this. So, and I always think, practical, summer, autumn, winter, spring. When summer's done and it's autumn's time to be autumning, summer can't be crossed that summer's done.
Facts, we literally gave summer away.
Because summer we
Like
were
gave away.
swimming, we were walking outside and braaiing and things were lekker. And
But you also
we
had
were
mosquitoes and
outdoors.
flies.
But when it's autumn's time, these things. Boy, the thing is uncomfortable at the back. The season's flow is needed and very needed. So Cameron's school can't be crossed because he's working now. Because they want him at school.
Facts.
Because he
Yeah.
was fine in the class, as an example. So my point is, at times
They
we
still
must
must
be
be at
really...
high school.
No, they
they
don't.
don't.
Trust
I
me,
feel
they
like
don't.
we need to be matured about when seasons change. I had to say goodbye to a lot of friendships I didn't want to say goodbye to. I believe I still held on to see other previous seasons, friendships, because I didn't want to say goodbye to it. I didn't want to end it. But again, we must be so matured in our transformation, in understanding what God is doing, that I always say, if something happens, it's because it came past God's desk and he signed it off. If it didn't come past his desk and hasn't got his signature on, you
You
best believe
moved.
it's not going to, no, you best believe he's not going to allow it.
Yeah.
So sometimes he does allow something we enforce.
Yeah.
But the point is, it still took a signature. So nothing happens
Stamp of approval.
by surprise to God. Oh my word, I can't believe today the sun is shining. I thought it was the rain. Nothing surprises God. So I'm saying is,
We're actually
sometimes
hitting it was in the rain.
we need to also see that God is not closing that friendship door because the person's bad for you. It's just that friendship's not going to serve you maybe
In this
in
season,
this
you
season.
find yourself
It
in.
might be something God brings upon your life 5 seasons from now.
When they
But
have
it's not for
transitioned as
you,
well.
But also but when you've also transitioned.
Yeah.
And you know, Cameron
And so-
told me something so powerful the other day. He said that don't burn bridges with people because you might
No.
need them in the
You
future.
never know
And I'm
that,
thinking
yes.
about when it comes to friendships, yes, certain things happen and then your friendship breaks, whatever. But I feel like that is also a transition. That's also a season. Because I mean, like, think about it. If that particular season is over with that particular person, then you don't have to. In transition, I can't go into my previous school and come and go as I please
No.
because I don't no longer have the
limited.
access.
The access is
is
denied.
limited. And
Denied.
the access is
Wait.
denied. So I'm saying in transition, with friendships as an example, you might not have the access as quick. Might not be able to call them now and be like, oh, I want to go for coffee. You might not be able to do that. But
Might have
don't.
to email and wait for 2 weeks.
You might have to. They might just leave you on read.
They might have a
but
p-
at
period.
the right time, if it's in God's will and that person realizes itself with you, then it's
Yes,
God's will.
for sure.
But
Because that season must come back around. That's how seasons work.
Because winter comes again.
Yes, summer comes again, spring
The
comes
sun
again.
will shine again.
Spring comes
100%, yeah.
Correct.
No, I love that. I love seasons. It's beautiful.
So,
Life is full of
I
seasons.
love that. And you must understand that when summer is over and autumn, so think about the tree and just think about one leaf on the tree. So when summer is over and that leaf falls, that leaf gets brown and it dies.
yeah.
That leaf that fell is never going to go back to that tree.
No, that's good.
That season
Is
for
over.
that leaf
It's done.
is over.
It's gone, yeah.
So in where that leaf was this year, a new leaf is going to form in its place.
100%.
And that leaf
A
will only,
duplicated leaf.
yes, and that leaf is only going to be there for spring, summer, and autumn.
Before
it's
it
going
also
to fall again.
falls.
So that bud, the area will all for winter it's going to be void, but in spring it will flourish something new.
And I think we will help ourselves when we embrace all seasons. Because look, I love summer.
And it's easier said than done, eh?
No, because we were brought up in such a culture that we can say we're not. I'm not a winter person. Now you're across the entire 3 months because you don't like getting wet and it's rainy and
Just
it's damp and
embrace
it's this and that
the
and it's
vibes.
cold and whatever. But the point is, winter's needed also. We can't just have summer all the time. We need the rain also. So I think in
You need
order
a breaks from the flies and mosquitoes.
that too. So and the allergics and everything else that goes with the hay fevers. But what I'm thinking about is in order
Yep.
to master transition, you also need to embrace 4 seasons
100%.
and not have we can have a preference, but not a preference that can to
Idolatry, yeah.
govern your attitude and
That's
your.
Mommy, that's idolatry. You can't
That's
idolize a season.
Can
For
I just
sure.
say, can I say,
That's
Facts.
good. That's good.
Facts.
can I just say, like in the natural seasons, so for us it lasts 3 months, eh?
Yeah,
Three
3
months
months.
each season. There's 4 seasons, so it lasts 3 months. If winter is not, let's use a fun one. If spring is not your season,
Which is my favorite one.
yeah,
the birth season.
Yes, but also so for sinus reasons, it's not your season.
Not my season.
In transition, if you're looking in that context, you're never going to speed up the time of the season because it's set. But how long you will still be suffering with hay fever in winter
Come on now.
if you don't if the transition is not there. The symptom of the thing you disliked in the previous season is going to follow you into the next season.
Wow.
You have sunburn. You have sunburn in autumn.
You will have sunburn while it's storming.
And also, can I also say, in different seasons you have different tools.
Oh, yes.
You can't have a puffer jacket in summer,
That's
but you can
powerful.
have a puffer jacket in winter and autumn.
But if
You
you
could
don't,
have
different
two-piece
tools.
Spider.
but if
in
you don't
winter.
heal, but if you don't heal from a scar
Yes.
on your head in summer, in the season where vitamin D is needed, you're going to have to wear a or in summer or in winter, you're going to have to wear a beanie in
In
summer.
summer. Yeah.
Or a covering on your head when you're supposed to. So you will carry hurt, you will carry pain, you will carry, if you don't, in the transition period granted to you. And again, I'm saying, guys, it's easier said than done. It's not like someone hurt me and I inflicted pain. I just back
You just
and
like
take it off. They're like,
Nah.
We
It is so, yeah.
we
So,
should
yeah.
get there,
Yes.
but understand the sun will be shining and you're going to need to sit in front of a fireplace.
Wow.
Using the wrong tools in the wrong season.
100%. Do you buy wood for the fireplace in your house, or do you buy wood in
For your
summer
braai.
to have a braai and have leisure time? What are you going to? The question in transition is this: what are you going to use the wood for?
Or you can have umbrella in winter, umbrella to protect from the sun outside on
for
Camps
the
Bay.
rain or for the? It's
Come
a
on.
s- I
That's
love
powerful,
that.
yeah.
The tools is important.
Very important,
but
yes.
What
Different tools.
you not what you want to use for,
What
what
you
you are
need.
forced to be used
Yeah.
for is because when in the summer season, the umbrella was granted to you to protect you from the sun and lay on the beach.
100%.
But because you haven't used it and utilized it properly, you have to take the umbrella with the same tool to cover you from the rain.
Now
And
let me
also-
tell you something quickly. Sorry.
also,
Okay, you can
before
go then
you use
I will
this-
go then Cameron.
Maar so summer, you are busy with your nieces and nephews who we don't have small children anymore. In the summer, we're busy with their beach spade in the sand. You're not going to use the same spade to plant your flowers
Yeah.
in the season of planting.
Yeah.
Because you can look quite
Sewing. Yeah.
of sowing.
Yeah.
You can look foolish.
Different tools,
Correct.
different seasons, yeah.
tools, different seasons.
So just
different
because
occasions,
it
yeah.
has the same function of scooping doesn't mean it's going to work.
Or even using it as a dish up spoon. You're not going to dish up with a
The beach
with a
spade.
beach spade.
No,
Who
no,
eat it?
Or
no. In your
even
new
though,
season,
even though
you
I know
can-
some people that would.
in your new season, you might need a tool
You know.
to dish up. In your previous season, it might or to scoop the soup or whatever the case may be. In the previous season, you can't use a spade to dish up rice.
You can't. You can't.
But you can use a spade to dish up or pick up soil in order to plant a seed. But that season is for planting seeds. This season is to reap the harvest, which is a soup, but you can't use the same.
And you're going to tire yourself out.
100%.
You're not going to nail the vice grip. First of all, you're going to break the vice grip. And second of all, you're not going to get the job done.
It won't be
You know what I
done.
mean? It won't be done effectively.
And I think what I was thinking about now is the waiting period before each transition shouldn't be something long. And then I automatically thought of when you go to an airport and the waiting time. So before you check in, you obviously need to be there early so that you're not late. But if you are late,
Like that you have to be there early so that you're not late.
This
I
is
love
for
it.
you. That's for
Sorry,
you.
guys.
That's
Sorry,
for you.
man.
Put that in your bag.
That's when you sit in the flow in class, and share textbooks.
so yeah, the waiting period between each transition isn't long because if you are late to your check-in, then your flight will get delayed. So
Or you missed it.
or you miss the flight because you will miss when God wants you to transition because you were not at the right place at the right time.
And then you need to have another, you're going to have to rebook your flight ticket, which might not be the next one. It might be the next 5 months because it's fully booked.
yeah.
Because it's an opening. Like even if
So
you look
window,
at
like a
sports,
window, yeah.
a window. Even if you look at sports, and someone has to transition from defense to attack, there's always a window where that ball is won, and now there's a window of opportunity where there's maybe a space open on the field. Now use that space to run through. But if you take too long to transition to maybe to the wing or to the striker, that opening automatically closes now.
For sure. And you missed it.
Because the opponent's team transition.
And then you missed it.
Then
I
you
think
missed
that
it.
there was an illustration at church.
Yeah.
Where for one you play defensive, and then all of a sudden your coach will tell you right in the 55th minute,
Win the ball,
win the ball,
go.
and attack. So and that transition
It's quick.
is quick ones.
Quick ones, yeah.
Those are quick ones where we need to attack, whether we need to retract, and this is you will only understand this when you know the voice of God.
100%.
When you understand who you are connected to, who your spiritual leaders are as an example, or who your mentors are in your life, and who the crowd you find yourself connected to in this season, in whether it be a peer at school, whether it be an associate, someone that you met online, whatever it might be.
100%.
Those people have not necessarily the actual tools, but they have the puzzle pieces you need. Like, thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you for that. I went there for a cup of coffee, and it often happens to us. Went for a cup of coffee, or our online check-in, or whatever the case would be. It's an hour, but it's one piece you take out there, two. Or most times when we go to our peers, we say, I'm actually going to stand and drink this coffee, and it happens that we sit there for hours. But we sit there for 2 hours, but we take only one piece puzzle, and it needed to take us that 2 hours to sacrifice that 2 hours of your day in order to take that one piece.
It's not so much that they must give it, it's that God had ordained them to give it and instructed them to give it.
100%.
And also, also another analogy before we need to cut off. It's almost like a rotating door.
Revolving door.
A revolving door. Like it's not gonna stay open.
Sitting
But
on
it
the
needs to
floor.
spin. So you need to
Education.
do that timing right. You can't come to the door and walk. You're
You
gonna
have to
walk
wait
into
for-
the door.
yeah.
You're
Yes.
gonna need to wait until
That's
it's
so
open.
beautiful. I
And
love
look
that.
here, before you go on, I want to close. So the soccer that you were speaking about, so that window, you must have missed that window a couple of times. How did it make you feel? Because I'm asking, I would like to know how did it make you feel? Because then you had to wait up for another opportunity. Did it always come immediately?
How did it make you feel?
Now you okay, I'm gonna explain how it feels, and I know many people that understand football will understand. Now you need to work all from over again basically. Now you need to wait because that team is maybe gonna pass the ball to his goalkeeper and I was gonna pass the whole time. Until you now need to win the ball and have that opportunity again. So you
Yes.
need to wait.
Does it make you feel discouraged in that time?
100%.
Okay.
Because it's more work.
Yeah.
Where you
And your
could have ended the
teammates?
game.
And your teammates, how do you take the flag from
And the
them?
thing is,
Switch on, Cammy.
yeah.
Switch on,
Switch
Cammy.
on,
Yeah.
Cams.
Cam,
Okay,
she-
just
switch
listen.
on.
Switch
Just
on.
listen.
Cammy, switch on.
Switch on!
That one, that always
Switch on.
resonates in my mind.
Nah,
Takes
but
a bit of
it's-
sound. Switch on!
It's nostalgia, but it's with all jokes aside, it's really
Building
something.
blocks, yeah.
So yeah, it's really something because even like football is part of a team, and the whole team benefits once you get to the transition right. So
For sure.
so with this team,
For sure.
once you get to the transition right, it really benefits us all.
For sure. And not often did you understand what the coach was saying.
100%.
And I do believe God has also blessed you with so many great coaches.
100%.
You know,
So much, yeah.
so that is really powerful.
And it's managing it, man. It is
Yeah.
not being and managing. I think it's a social term that people can get used to. It's having dominion over that transition, knowing that it's difficult, knowing that like Lord, why must I struggle with patience, especially when I'm waiting for an answer.
But you can't also manage it and master it if you don't take a full accountability
For it.
for falling in your fault and admitting that you've done wrong.
And you tell yourself like there's an answer or there's answers that I'm waiting for, and then I know it's the Holy Spirit telling me, just let it be. I, at the right time, will do it. So, but you also understand in that waiting, there's also, you don't want to give the idea that you don't care. So you touch and go. And the Lord is saying the whole time, just relax.
Just rest in me.
Just chill.
Just rest in
It
me.
will come at the right time. But again, that is something in this season that I am struggling with. And I've been struggling with it for a while. That is one of the things that I drag from season and transition
And
all the
now-
time. That I want to know the answer.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, I'll phone you or I'll message you or I'll whatever.
But we're all going through transitions.
Yeah.
None of us has arrived. Like I'm currently transitioning in my health, and not losing weight. Transitioning in my health. You know what scripture really stood out for me this week was that you may be that you may be prosperous in all things, in
you shall
health
prosper.
also. The
As your
scripture
soul
actually says this, as you will be prosperous in all things, in health also, even as your soul prospers. So the Lord is saying your health, your physical health is important to the Lord. Sometimes we look after and take care of our physical cars we drive in, more than we take care of the Holy Spirit's car He needs to drive in,
Vehicle,
which is our bodies being the temple.
And some
We
people-
won't drive with no petrol and throw double O's in it because we
Yeah.
have a whole lot of double O's laying around
Double
home.
O's.
No, or jives. We won't throw jives. We must throw petrol
Coke.
or Coke because we have a lot of it.
But I
But yet
understand-
we throw anything in our
Let me
tanks.
say this, but understand, there's also people that just creates more space for the Holy Spirit to dwell in. So they just create space.
So you're saying that you are modifying your temple,
Yeah, like a
Modify so it
truck.
can be quicker and faster and also bigger.
And stronger.
but also heavier.
Bigger space.
Yeah.
But you need heavy vehicles as well.
Facts. You need tanks, you need
You need big trucks.
tailors,
With big engines.
tankers.
But you can't have a small engine with a big.
Small engine. Yeah, maybe small engine, big engine doesn't.
Anyway, thank you so much for
Thank you
watching.
so
Thank
much.
you so much.
We love you,
46
God
minutes.
It
and
was
we just-
Love
awesome.
you
Thanks
guys.
for coming and
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
logging
much.
on. God
Yep.
bless.
We love
Manage
you.
your transition and
Yeah.
remember that
And
you love
master
God.
it.
Like, subscribe, share it with
Yep.
someone we know that was going to bless you,
Yep,
who knows going
yep,
to bless
yep,
other
yep,
people,
yep,
and we
yep.
love you. Peace out.
Peace out.
Yep.
Bye.